Hello students. Today we are discussing the second part of the endocrine system and we are starting with the major gland, pituitary gland. You'll get many questions in board examination from this gland. That the first question, why it is called as master gland. When we talk about master gland is the gland which regulate the functions of rest all the glands of the body. That's why it is called as master gland. Now, location, structure and function of this gland we have to discuss in detail. When we are discussing the location of this gland, as you can see, the location is in the hypothalamus. That is the midbrain region where at the roof of the hypothalamus you are getting this small stalk-like structure. This stalk you are having a bilobed gland which is having two lobes is called as pituitary gland, and this gland is master because as your brain is regulating the whole body, in the same way this master gland located in the brain regulating all the endocrine glands of the body. That's why the name is given the master gland. So here you may get the question, why is it called as master gland? So it's written here that it regulate other glands. That's why it's called as, this is the last line you have to see. It is regulating all the other endocrine glands. Instead of other glands, you will write endocrine glands, which will regulate the function, overall function you can say. So instead of gland, you will write here it will regulate all the endocrine gland. That's why master gland. Now when we are going with the structure, you can see there are two lobes in this particular gland, and these two lobes are anterior lobe number 1 and posterior lobe number 2. This anterior lobe is called as adenohypophysis. If you want to write, you can write the name. And the posterior lobe is called as neurohypophysis. In between there is a very small extension or lobe, you can say intermediate lobe, which is given here. In class 11th you will read this gland in more detail, but for class 10th this is the little description which you should remember, that only anterior lobe is there and the posterior lobe is there. Now from anterior lobe it is releasing near about 5 to 6 hormones, and from posterior lobe two specific hormones are secreted. So when we are talking about the anterior lobe, it is releasing one of its own hormone and rest regulatory hormones. That's why it is called as tropic hormones also. There is a question in the board examination that why the hormones secreted by pituitary gland are called as tropic hormones. What are the tropic hormones? TROPIC. So tropic hormones are hormones which are regulating other endocrine glands. So that will be clear to you soon after discussion. So the first hormone of the pituitary, as you can see, is called as somatotropin, or it is called as growth hormone. Now this growth hormone, as we all know, is regulating overall growth of the body. But in case of abnormalities, if it is secreted less or if it is secreted more, if it is secreted less, it causes a problem which is called as dwarfism. Dwarfism is one of the problem when the height of the person remains less and he is suffering from the problem that is called as dwarfism. And when extra secretion or more secretion of this hormone somatotropin is taking place, this more secretion is creating two more problems in the human beings. First is in the childhood, second in the adulthood. If it is secreted in the, let's say, childhood, it will be creating a problem called as gigantism. What is gigantism? The person will become very tall as Khali, so more than 6 feet in height. So that condition is called as gigantism. Another problem is there if it is secreted more even in the adults. So if in adults this hormone is secreted more, it will be creating a problem called as acromegaly. That is the problem where the lower jaw is becoming very heavy and the person will look like you can say more than a normal human being, a kind of our ancestors kind of a structure you will see in their jaw. So that is something acromegaly. You can see like it's look like abnormal. So you can easily identify a person suffering from acromegaly. So dwarfism and gigantism is clear to you, I guess. Two diagrams I have given here also. like there is sudden secretion of this in the adult is causing acromegaly, and this gigantism which you are getting, the diagram is given, that gigantism takes place when it is secreted more in the body. And when we talk about dwarfism, so this is the condition of the dwarfism. So this we have discussed about the one major hormone of the pituitary, which is called as somatotropin hormone or GH growth hormone. Another name of this is called as somatotropin. Another name of this hormone is somatotropin. Somatotropin or somatotropic hormone. Next, we are moving with the TSH. TSH is another hormone, thyroid stimulating hormone. As you can see, stimulating means this particular hormone is responsible for stimulation of the thyroid gland to secrete its own hormone. So if its secretion is disturbed, it will automatically disturb the metabolism, which is the function of thyroid gland. So pituitary is playing a very important role. Next, we are having ACTH. ACTH full form could be asked from you in the examination. Adrenocorticotropic hormone. Adrenal gland is there, which is located. You can see this small yellowish gland, which is located at the top of the kidney. In pair, this is the adrenal gland. But this gland will be showing its function if ACTH is secreted by pituitary, then only it will be showing its normal functioning and regulating the functions of the body, like mineralocorticoid, glucocorticoids are there, as well as adrenaline, emergency hormones. We will discuss that later on in the next class. Next, we are having GnRH. GnRH full form gonadotropin releasing hormone or gonadotropic hormones. Here we have to discuss two major hormones, or it regulate the gonads. What is the meaning of the gonads over here? When we talk about gonads, it's called as testis and ovaries. So it is regulating the hormones of the testis and ovaries in male and female respectively. Then we are going with the prolactin, PRL hormone. This hormone is responsible for milk formation in the female. Next, we have to discuss ADH. Now, these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hormone what we have discussed, the first, second, third, fourth, and fifth. These 5 hormones we have discussed from the anterior lobe, that is adenohypophysis. Now we are moving to the posterior lobe. In posterior lobe, you can see two hormones, major two hormones are secreted, and both the hormones are very important for the board examination. First hormone is vasopressin, also known as antidiuretic hormone, and second is oxytocin. So antidiuretic hormone, as you know, it is related with the excretory system. So this hormone is regulating the amount of water, or you can say water reabsorption in the kidney from the nephron. If you remember, distal convoluted tubule. So this is your nephron, if you remember. This is PCT, then we are having a narrow tube, and then we are having this DCT. So the final reabsorption of water from the DCT is regulated by what? Is regulated by your ADH hormone. So this ADH, this hormone is regulating on the distal convoluted tubule and absorbing the excess amount of water from here. So playing a very important role in regulating the amount of urine formation. This is done by ADH. Oxytocin is the hormone which is also called as birth hormone. This oxytocin is called as birth hormone, which is responsible for the natural childbirth by contraction, by causing the contraction of the uterus. So these two hormones are very important for the board point of view. One which is not in your course, but let's discuss because it is given here. This particular gland, which is pituitary's intermediate lobe, acting as a gland, endocrine gland, is releasing one of the hormones, that is melanocyte hormone, or melanocyte stimulating hormone is secreted by, it is called as MSH. Melanocyte stimulating hormone is secreted by it, which regulate the melanin formation in our body and regulating the pigmentation. Pigmentation means skin will be dark, having the dark complexion or light. Some more regulation, or you can say regulatory functions of pituitary are given here, like it regulate metabolism, it regulates the growth, it activates the reproductive organs of the female and the male, regulating the adrenal cortex as well as medulla, regulating the thyroid gland as well as regulating the ovary. So, if you will see in a small flow chart, I have discussed each and every function of the pituitary and the board questions which is asked on this particular topic. I have also discussed with you, just reminding it once again to you. Like, first, it could be asked from you, what is the location of pituitary? So, one question could be from location of the pituitary. Second, the hormone ADH is very important. Second is oxytocin is very important. Then what are the abnormalities like gigantism and dwarfism could be asked from you. Then why this gland is called as master gland? This question is coming for the reasoning. Why it is called as tropic hormone? So these are some of the board question will be asked from you in the board examination. Hope things are clear to you. In next class, we will be discussing about the adrenal gland. See you soon in the next class. Bye. Take care.